about that Nirvana thing, was seeing their picture, how they used to be.
Yeah.
And then fucking guessing what they were going to look like when they came on, because they actually had more money to pay the dance for tomorrow. So Rob Gretton said, alright.
Did you?
That's checking his checkbook, remember that? We needed that 50 quid. We were the first band on that day. That was the first festival I'd ever played.
And it paid for your money?
Yeah, he
I'm sorry, I won't forgive anybody for that forever. We used to rehearse at his place. Hooky rehearsed down the lobby with Joy Division, and we were a proper meat potato pie rock and roll band. Good, but I mean real basic stuff. And I remember listening to them and just thinking, Jesus, that's different. You know, when something's so different, you love it, but you think, I couldn't do anything like that. Because I was older and my roots were in the 60s, you know, and all the sort of beat groups.
This guy was originally, he could have gone on the wrong side, it's in his book, but he
Stayed out of prison.
It
did. Rock and roll definitely saved me. Absolutely, definitely.
Strange place.
Jesus.
It's a laugh that because he was always shouting at us. Usually getting the fuck out.
These guys,
Didn't mean me.
when they, look at this, I'm signing a book for the great Peter Hook. And he's come
You
tonight.
didn't call me that then.
Yeah.
That swat
Where's
again.
the rent?
Thank you.
Right, cheers, Peter. Got John Robb, Mike Sweeney.
We all have to do it.
Am I in the book? Of course I am.
Get your own book.
No, I am just looking at the book.
Right. Date roll.
You're joking.
Genuinely, Jenny.
Oh.
Down on Sunday.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Tell him.
How cool is that? I've not been in that many books. That is just the business.
Quality book. This guy has got a longevity of 40 years in the music business.
Good evening, everyone. We're cold water swimmers.
Hello.
It was definitely an underground scene, and it was kind of a danger going there as a young 16-year-old. What the catalyst was, and I think Peter will concur with me, was when punk music came along. It was a eureka moment. I thought, right, no, I want to do something. I saw this building, I wanted to, something just twigged with me. I thought rehearsal, I always thought there's a shortage of rehearsal spaces. Bought the building, put posters up around town. The first band was Ed Banger and the Nosebleeds. Then the bands followed, Slaughter and the Dogs, Joy Division.
So Peter, I just call him Pete, Hooky.
Tony is absolutely right. It was impossible to get anywhere to practice. Because every time you went in a pub and said you were a group, have you got a room we could have? They'd go, oh yeah, just play in the corner. It'll be good for the clientele. And you know, we're a screaming punk band. And the only time he ever came in to see Joy Division was to go, have you got me money? And we went down, and I remember going in the first night, £1.50 for an hour. And we were sat there, and we went, you know what? I think this radiator is on. And everyone went, fuck off. And we all went over, and we were like that, going like it was fucking magic, going, it's fucking on. It's on, the radiator's on. And we're like, wow, fucking hell, so excited. The weird thing was after a while, we'd been watching Tony with his flash cars and his, shall we say, sachet, and we thought, you know what, he'd be fucking good as a manager. He was very confident for his age. He was only 3 years older than me, weren't he? Yeah. So we asked him to be our manager. By this time, he had the record label, and we said, we'd like you to manage us. No, fuck off.
So, Mike, when was the first time you went down there?
This is not an official comment from the BBC. It was an absolute shithole, Tony, on its best days. I always remember the dust, but it was a great place because it was cheap for us. And what was fascinating for me was looking at all these young bands playing rock and roll and doing stuff that we'd done maybe in 66 and 67 where they didn't have much gear, because we had gear and everything by then. We forget that when we were doing this, nothing happened in town. Nothing. The bands were there, the venues were there, the industry wasn't there, and fair dues to Tony with TJM. If you couldn't get a deal in London, he was the only place, the only game in town.
How was tonight?
Brilliant, absolutely excellent evening, loved it. Loved the setup, loved the vibe, loved the music to kick it off, and the panel just set it up nicely. And I've got my book, so I'll be looking forward to having a read of this.
Do you remember TJM?
No, I'm a little bit too young for TJM. I'm 50, but I've heard obviously anecdotal stories and things like that. Friends that were in bands before that time, so I was aware of what it was about and how it was the catalyst for other things that went on when then Factory came and other things. And with having that interest in Manchester's music scene, it was a no-brainer. So to come down and hear how that sort of started and how that old style DIY of taking a punt and the gambles that went on in this city in them old darker days was the soil and the start of everything that grew, really. So yeah, it was an interesting talk, the anecdotal stories and everything about it. It was a good night, really well put together.
I thought Hooky was brilliant, didn't you?
Yeah, I could have stood there and listened to him all night with Sweeney just banging in little chips and stuff like that. I thought John Robb did a brilliant job just trying to hold it together. Yeah, Cold Water Swimmers were brilliant. Great start to the night, that sort of industrial sort of harshness of the music. And it was great. It was great to hear the stories and what Anthony had to say about how he came from a different background and just how it all worked together, and the stories about things I'd never heard about, like how the room was brown and there was little stories that were put in there, the poetry stuff, like you couldn't see the darkness of the corners. And I loved all the tributes before from they were brilliant, yes, stuff that the people were talking about. So it set it up brilliantly. It was a really good night. Absolutely enjoyed it.
Leon the Pig Farmer, everyone.
Leon the Pig Farmer, yeah.
Cheers, man. Nice one.
Sometime.
Yeah. How did you enjoy that, Chris?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was really good to play. Just a short set, 20 minutes, but we really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a wonderful night, and I'm glad that Tony got a chance to tell his story. And he's talking about success in the music industry. Success in the industry is about two things. It's about timing. You've got to get that right, and it's about who gets behind you. And I think doing things like a rehearsal studio, setting up small studios and doing these things for bands, that's getting behind bands, and that gives people a platform. So to be able to tell that story, I think it's a wonderful thing.
Phenomenal. You did a great job tonight, Chris. Well done, man.
Smashing.
See you again soon. How did it go?
Right. Good, yeah.
Enjoyed that, did you?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Good to get a spotlight on people don't often get recognised, stuff they've done in the last 50 years of music, innit?
I mean, yeah. Tony goes back a long way. Are you that far back with him? Do you remember him from the
I wrote to him at the time, actually. We were only like a young band in Blackpool, and he did write back, but he didn't like what we were doing. I guess we must have sounded terrible, though. We didn't know what we were doing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to us, it seemed like this really incredibly glamorous place. And some bands of Blackpool actually been there, and some bands of Blackpool actually gone there to rehearse in there, and it felt like they'd gone to like Los Angeles or something. You know, whereas nowadays it's just fucking popping down the road on the train, isn't it?
Yeah. True.
We started about 8 o'clock this morning. And yeah, I'm just thrilled to bits, and for Tony, because he's had the time of his life and he's really enjoyed it. It's just beat his expectation in every which way. So I'm thrilled to bits. Thank you for you too as well. See you soon.
What you set out to achieve?
You know what? From the feedback I got, it was absolutely brilliant. I didn't realise when you're on stage and you're talking with Hooky and we're taking a mickey out of each other, but the feedback I got from people was absolutely fantastic. So I'm glad I got you guys to video the event. Fantastic.
I could have listened to you all night. That was so interesting. The stuff.
Yeah. Do you know that genuine feedback, without being too cliche, means great to me. It's fantastic. So really, really good.
Glad you had a good night. What's next for you?
The next, we're doing some promotion with some bands, so it's onwards and upwards. So I just wanted to put this into it and get it out, get the story out, and to get Hooky down and Sweeney to tell the stories. Absolutely brilliant.
Love, love,